It was on this day, January 1st, 2026, that a new Michael has been born. Gone is the Michael from 2025. He has unfortunately passed away, dead, finito, gone with the wind. And now you have me, your host, Michael, Mike, Mikolo, as some have called me. I would like to welcome you all to Mike's Night. This is the beginning of a new season. Season 5, if you would like to call it that. But here we are today, bringing in the new year. Happy New Year to all of you. To all of you who have made New Year's I must say revolution, New Year's resolutions. I hope you keep to them. I hope that you're able to build upon that and create something new for yourself for this year. Last year, in 2025, I would call 2025 the year of hatred, ignorance, laziness, absolute trash. 2025 had its ups and downs, as all years do, but 2025 specifically has been unbelievably terrible. My highlight for that year has absolutely been my graduation, but in terms of the rest of the year, it has been pretty bad, I would say. Not my best year, not the worst year though, but not my best year for sure. Now with that, I every year I always think about what did I do last year? My New Year's reflection, not resolution. What happened this last year? What did I do last year that no I was proud of? What was I not very proud of? And first, I would say what's good because I'm a pretty negative person, a realistic kind of person. But I want to start over with what I think I did right last year. Last year, I graduated. The end. Okay, no, but no. Last year, I did graduate from college. It was a long, arduous journey. I'm very proud of that. I'm happy that it did come to an end eventually. I was happy for all my friends that I was able to walk the stage with. For anyone who graduated this year at the very end, I hope you wish you the best of luck. I'm proud of you as well. You did amazing that year, and as well as I did. And we're going to continue striving for greater paths, greater things, and to keep pushing for our successful futures. Of course, with also last year, I've made some, I'll say, risky things, or not risky like jumps in terms of things I want to do for my future, things I want to accomplish. For instance, I tried to go on some different trips. I tried to put myself out there a bit more. Was it very successful? Questionable, but I was trying to do new things that year. I was trying to take more risk and I was trying to do better by myself. So I think I was very proud of that. I think those are the big two things. I could probably think of more, but in terms of what I want to go on, that's about all I can think of as of right now. Now the things I was not very happy with. Now I wanna make a caveat to that, which is kind of why, other than it's New Year's, I want to do a New Year's episode. There was a thing that happened to me towards the end of last year, which really made me sit down and think of, man, what did I do last year? I was having a discussion with my mother. For many of us, we have similar discussions with your friends or family, especially for a family who are like your moms and your dads. If you have your dad with you, if you have your mom with you, you generally have a discussion with one of them or maybe even both of them. But my mom brought something up to me. It was something that I was supposed to do, something that I take full accountability for. I just didn't do. It was like I was supposed to pay or something, and I just completely just didn't do it. It wasn't like I didn't want to. I just didn't do it correctly. So generally, that was my responsibility, and I failed at that. And she told me to my face, "You do not follow through on anything." It's like, whoa, like that took me aback. I had to like really sit down and like fester with that for a second because I was angry not at her. I was angry at the fact that she was actually very correct about that statement, and I had to really like sit down and reflect. In fact, that night I couldn't sleep. I got up like 2 a.m. It's like, no, I need to write this down because I really need to like think about what she said to me, and what am I going to do about it. So I actually wrote a list of things that I did not follow through on that entire year. It's something I said I was going to do. I just completely didn't do it. So, of course, the number one thing was I didn't pay my end of what our agreement was. I called that okay. That was just something that happened in the moment. But one of the things that really like I said I was going to do throughout the entire year, I was going to find a job in my field. Did not do that after, especially after graduating. In my own defense, the economy is terrible, and the job market is even worse at the moment. So finding a job in my field was already going to be difficult. But unfortunately, I didn't find a job in my field. Good, I like something small, something big doesn't really matter. I just didn't do it. So this thing I didn't follow through on, and I did stop for a while just because I was getting really irritated looking, and I also needed money, so I did start working some other job, and I said I would stop for a little bit just to go work at a different place for a while. So technically, I didn't follow through on that. I said I would be consistent with the podcast. As you can see, I was not consistent with the podcast. I'm following in Corey Kitchen's footsteps here, where I post maybe once in a full moon. I did I was consistent at the very beginning. I was consistent towards the later end of the year, but then I had to stop posting. Most of that was because I wasn't comfortable recording something like this with my family around. I'm gonna be honest. Most of that is due to if I felt like if I were to talk about what I'm talking about now, I feel like one of them will come up behind me and they will have a conversation and say, "Oh, you should do this. You should do that." And it's like, no, no, no. Let me just do my own thing. And I think some kind of way about that, which I'm using as an excuse, of course, to not do it. But no, that was my fault. I had to be consistent with it, and that's something I said I was going to do. I wasn't doing that. Next, I was going to look into and getting an LLC. I was looking to start a business, and yet here I am, LLC list. Still basically a square one. Haven't done anything with that. I'd said I was going to start making products. Haven't made any products apart from when I really started. I haven't made anything new. I haven't been looking into branching out, finding other things I could create with the stuff I have. Haven't really done that. I said I was going to start building credit, learning how to build credit. I haven't really been doing that either. I still don't really know my process going about that, and honestly, yes, it's still next to nowhere. So most of that is stuff I haven't followed through on, and then well, because it's something that's kind of small, but I still said I was going to do it, and I didn't do it, which is finish this darn book that I started. I'm like halfway through it, and I still have yet to finish it. I had this book for almost 2 years now. I need to finish this thing. So a lot of it, of course, I could go on for much longer with this list, but essentially those are like the main things I said. You know what? I said I was going to do this, and yet I'm still here, struggling, not doing anything. And that was, I was really pissed off at myself, the fact I didn't do it. Then I made another list. This list, there's more on things that I said, not things I said, but things that really like irritated me. It's more of a personality thing rather than things I said I was going to do. But these are things that I think I should be working on. Things that, in my own opinion, why am I like this? This isn't something that I want for myself. So starting off this list is I'm way too naive. There's a lot of things as an adult, as a person in my field, as just a man in general, there's things I just don't know. There's things I haven't learned, and maybe I should have learned at this point. For instance, like I said, I want to be more financially literate, and yet here I am, barely understanding what like things about credit or certain things that had to do with my finances. There's certain things as a person of my age, and maybe I should have a better understanding of in terms of like social cues. I'm not the best at social cues. I'm fairly awkward, I would say. There's things that I just don't understand and go right over my head. Or maybe there's like when people are trying to hint towards something, I just don't understand it. Or maybe I just didn't get it in the moment. And maybe I think about it later. It's like if someone brought it up, like, oh, that's what that means. Okay. Next, I would say I'm very passive. I'm way too passive. I let opportunities fly by me. I don't think too much about it. I don't jump at opportunities. I should be more active in terms of my career, in terms of my life. Instead, no, I kind of just let life cruise by. And I don't think I should be like that. I think I should be a bit more proactive in terms of what I am trying to strive towards. Instead, here I am, still here, living with my parents, barely able to just do things that I said I'm going to do. Instead, I should be actively trying to grind towards making my career much more have much more appeal in going towards my success with all these, yeah, so quote unquote skills that I have. Instead, here I am again, just doing nothing with it. So I think I'm way too passive. And oh, this list is many for things that definitely applied towards the last year. But in generally, some of these are just things I have done throughout my life or haven't done throughout my life, which I think I do want to change going forward. I do think, in my own opinion, that I have a personality of a brick wall. And it's not necessarily like I don't have personality. I have personality, but I'm very reserved in terms of my approach to people, especially people I just met. I have I tend to need to warm up to people, and even people I've known for well more than a year at this point, I can still come off as very reserved. That's just my own view of myself. It's not. It's I do want to be a bit more open, especially with my friends. I want to be more open with my family as well, but I still have some difficulty with doing that. But it's not exactly like a huge like thing that I absolutely dislike about myself, but that's something that I do try to. I'm trying to work on a bit more. This one is a bit more deep, which is I have all this skill, but I have no results to show for it. This was kind of what I was saying before with being too passive, being too naive. Also with like finding a job and all that. Or sorry, with my business, I have a ton of skills. I'm able to do many things. I can do them pretty well. You know, saying great at anything, questionable. But in terms of like what I can do, what I have knowledge of doing, I could be doing so much more. I could be learning so much more, and I can be actually like building a career of a lot of things that I'm able to do right now, and yet I still have no results. Do not have a business. Do not have a job. Don't have any like real accomplishments. Don't have any like certifications. Uh, I could be doing other things. I could be earning more money, earning more income. I could be I could be a lot more I can be a lot more, how do I say, smart about how I'm weaving through all these different skills that I have. I can do ceramics. I'm fairly athletic. I can do a lot of athletic stuff. I am technically a certified lifeguard, even though my certification is expired. I can get a new certification. I am a certified lifeguard still. I have a bunch of knowledge of technology. I am very smart. I can learn things on the fly very quickly. Again, I probably can do a lot more. I'm a graphic designer for Christ's sake. I can be doing a lot more, but yet still, at this point in time, I don't have accomplishment to show for it. This degree I have is worthless. This degree, in my opinion, this degree I have is completely worthless until I have a job to show for it, until I have something to show for it. And right now, it's just sitting there. It's a piece of paper. Absolutely, no one. Who cares? I don't care. It's no one except my family and myself is looking at it. And even then, I'm not looking at that thing. So this degree I have is basically worthless until I make something of it. So right now, I have skills, but I have no results to show for it. Something similar, which I have all this skill or talent, but I have no ambitions. This kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying earlier. Why I have all these skills. I said I want to do the make a career out of it. I said I want to make a business out of it. Yeah, what am I doing to go towards that? What have I done to go towards that? Jack squat. That's exactly what I've done to go towards it, and that's something that's really irritated me, especially like when making this list. So that's something that was really just absolutely not. We can't be having that now. Um, Something that's not quite in the same vein, but is similar in some aspects. You have loved so many things, but yet you cannot describe it. That one is more akin to I have trouble describing things I like to talk about, or I like to do, I like to learn about, and I have a really hard time like describing to people. It's almost like I'm really into, for instance, ceramics. I should be able to use vocabulary that I've gained from ceramics. I should be able to describe technique that I learned from ceramics. I should be able to describe many different aspects, like what kind of clay this is. I should be able to describe like what kind of chemical compounds are going to a glaze. I should be able to do that while I'm talking to someone. Instead, I'm sometimes very simplistic in how I describe certain things. I don't really like that. Not gonna get it. If someone who doesn't understand what ceramics is, yes, you do want to describe it to them in a way that they understand. But at the same time, if I'm talking to someone who knows about Square Enix, I shouldn't be as simplistic as I am. If I'm talking about a game that I like, I shouldn't be as simplistic as I am. I should be able to describe what exactly I love about the game. I should be able to. I feel like I should be able to nerd out about something I'm nerdy about. I should be able to be intelligent about. That's not right, but I should be able to describe something that I'm really interested in instead of being so. I feel like so simple. Like I cut the conversation off very quickly when it comes to explaining about what I like. And on this podcast itself, I kind of go off on tangents. I don't really describe things very well. I don't like that when I do that, and that's something that is really why I started this whole podcast. Like I said before, I want this to be a method of me to describe something, describe other things I like to do in a way that is very detailed. It's very I won't say eloquent, but essentially I want it to be literate. I want to be more literate about how I describe certain things. And I did feel at that a little bit throughout this year. And I think it was really bad at the beginning of the years. I do think it's gotten a bit better, but I wanted to be consistent. I want to be a lot easier for me to do. This next one is very personal. I falter at any sign of conflict or obstacle. There's a lot of obstacles this last year. There's a lot of things that popped up, whether it be me not finding a job, whether it be me going to places and not being able to speak to anyone, whether it be like friend groups falling apart because someone didn't do something or someone should have been held accountable instead of me again being too passive, not saying anything and just letting it rock. I should have said something. I should have, regardless of what happened with that friendship, regardless of what that person, if that person got butthurt about what I said, I think I should be a bit more assertive. Now, I don't want to be like someone who runs the conflict at every turn. No, but I should be more assertive about things that I want to do. I should be a bit more. I should not even be a bit more. I need to be more assertive about. Yeah, I want to get this done, and if this is your job, this is what we're going to do. I should be more assertive about how I approach certain things. And yeah, I do falter. Like I back off. I back down very easily. I did that. I do that quite a bit. Even when I was a lot younger. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was just my personality. And my personality is not very confrontational in general. But as an adult, as a man, I do think that I should be more assertive. I should have more discipline in terms of making myself known that making it known that I need to get something done. I want this done. I don't think this is the best way to go about this, and I should voice my opinion about it more often than not. And that's something that I definitely want to work on going into the future. That's something that I think I struggle with a lot. Even right now, I do think I struggle with that a lot. And at that in the moment, I shouldn't be thinking about this later along the line. I should say, I should have said this earlier. No, in the moment, I should say, I don't understand this. Why are we going about this? We probably shouldn't be doing this. This is my reasoning. No, I should be doing that more often. The next one is a little bit on the same vein. You're afraid of trying something because of your past failures, or you're afraid of trying something because of you overthought. You put the failures above what the possibilities. Again, this is something that I've always done. There's a lot of times where, even though I'm not afraid to try new things, like in terms of new foods, if there's an event that we're going to, I'm like, okay, if it seems interesting, then I'll go at least go check it out. Maybe I won't do it at that very moment. I'll at least see what's it all about. If I am invited to something and I have ample time to do it, then more than likely than not, I'll go to it. But there's times where, when it comes to myself, like if someone needs my help, I'm there 100%. My friend who lives almost an hour away said I just need to talk to, even though it's just a short talk. I drove an hour to go to make sure that he was okay. Whenever people need my help, my family, they need my help, I'm there almost 100% of the time. But when it comes to myself, non-existent. When it comes to something that I want to do, or it comes to something that needs to be done on my end, I always outweigh the possibilities. I always think I like to know the positives and the negatives of a situation. If I know that something is coming up, or not something is coming up, if I know I want to do something, okay, what could go wrong in the situation? What can go right in the situation? What can I gain from it? What can I lose from it? I'm always doing that. And a lot of times I talk myself out of doing things. Like, for instance, like when I went on that cruise about 2 years ago now, I almost talked myself completely out of going on a cruise. Most of it was because of financial reasons, but I was like, is this really the smart way to spend my money? I always do that to myself. In terms of getting a new computer, I waited my entire time in college to get a new computer, even though I definitely needed a computer. There's times that really saved me to have it would have saved me to have a new computer, and yeah, I constantly talk myself out of doing it. There's a lot of things that what like what like why not do it? I'm so young. I have all this time. I could be putting towards this the knowledge I gain from doing these certain things into my future. But instead I shied away from it. I could have been making connections. I could have been I can be building my social skill by doing something like this. Instead, I talk myself out of it. I did that my entire time while in college. I did my entire time while in high school. I did my entire time while in middle school. And I do think that's something I need to change. It's not even just because it's fun to do. It's something that's like entertainment. Sometimes it's about building myself in terms of like my social understanding, but in my communication skill, going to like events like this and like really understanding, yeah, this is how people act in these situations, and like doing things like that. I could have been much more further. I said that wrong. Much further along comparatively if I would have done certain things while I was in school, and or not even while I was in school, when an opportunity arose, and that's something that again I talk myself out of it. I'm always like, no, I shouldn't do this. It's financially isn't very smart, or no, this is a waste of time. I should be focusing on doing this, and then turns out I didn't do it in the first place. So no, that's something that irritated me a lot, especially in recent years. This one is so fast to help the others, but you let your life go to waste so others can succeed. It's the same thing I was saying earlier. When it comes to doing things for myself, I will absolutely let my life go to waste if someone else needs help. But when I need to do something for myself, I'm never stepping up to the plate, and I want to change that. That's something that I desperately want to change, and that's going back to what my mother said: you do not follow through. When it comes to my responsibilities, things I need to do for myself, I do not follow through, and I cannot let that stand anymore. I absolutely will not let that stand anymore. And with that paper going away, that is my basically my New Year's resolution. Shame on me. First off, I'm not going to share with you what I actually wrote down because I'm gonna be honest, it's very negative. But I'm a negative person, and negativity is my way of simply pushing myself. I can be positive, sure. Positive, people always tell me you should be more positive. No, for myself, negativity and criticism is exactly how I push myself through. Because if she didn't tell me that, I wasn't going to write this down. I wasn't going to think about that. I would have been doing the same thing as I always been doing. But no, the moment she told me that, I actively was devastated by that fact. In fact, it really made me think and sit down with myself and ask, what exactly am I doing here? It was not a positive criticism at all. It was a very negative criticism, and it's something that I was writing down things like, man, right at this point in time, you are an absolute loser. Why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you trying to learn more? Why aren't you trying to develop yourself? Right now, you as a person, completely worthless in terms of your career. Completely worthless. You're an absolute loser right now. So what are we going to do to change that? And that's how I dedicate myself to doing better. Many people will say it's negative. I'm sure many of you would be thinking, "Dang, that's kind of harsh on yourself, isn't it? You should have more confidence." No, 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 no. And further, for me to be confident, I got to be doing better. I got to be working towards something. And right now, I'm not working towards, or am not in my 2025 self, who has, like I said, perished. They're gone. They weren't doing enough. This year, this Michael, I have plans that I intend to keep. I'm gonna hold myself accountable to completing these plans, and going forward, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So my New Year's goals. Like I said, I am dedicated to my growth, to my development. So number one, I'm becoming more financially literate. I am going to be taking time to either taking a class. I'm definitely doing research, and I'm having discussion with people I know who are more financially literate than me, and I'm going to be starting to really understand how to earn more income, how to build more assets. I'm going to be learning how to properly do this while I'm so young, while I'm still learning and I'm earning income as we speak, this is the best time to do it. While I'm not in school, not paying tuition, at this point in time, I'm not paying rent. I'm not doing stuff like that. This is by far the best time for me to be learning it and to really be driving towards that. If I want to be living the life I want to live, if I want to be doing things that I think are really enjoyable, if I want to, as a man, I do want to be somewhat of a provider. Come on now, but if I want to be doing that kind of stuff, I got to understand how finances work, how I'm going to earn this life. I'm not gonna just get this life. You got to work towards it. You got to grind towards it. How am I going to earn it? So yes, I'm definitely going to be sitting down and trying to. I'll be watching videos. I'll be taking notes. Maybe I'll take a class on it. Or like I said, I'll be talking to people who I know are financially literate, who are financially responsible. I am a financially responsible person. I don't spend money on like a bunch of nonsense. I actually do try to save up cash. I have multiple accounts where I just save cash. I don't try to spend money that often. And if I do, I like Mr. Krabs. I'm basically holding on to that dollar with a vice grip when I'm paying. I'm a frugal person. But that being said, you can't be frugal and not smart about it. That just doesn't coincide with each other. So I'm dedicating myself to be more financially literate, and that's something that I actively want to do. Number two, getting my business out of the idea phase and actually making products that have quality, and I'm going to be promoting myself and producing stuff. Like I said, I have the equipment to do it, yet I'm not doing anything with it. That needs to change. So going forward, I'm actively going to be making more products. I'm going to be doing more artistic stuff, whether that be graphic design or just my regular like drawing stuff. I'm going to be more active about doing that. And in order to do that, I have to sit down and dedicate time to doing it. When I said I'm prioritizing my growth, I've gotten a new journal for this podcast, so I can specifically start writing stuff down instead of just writing down on random scraps of paper I find around. I have a planner. I got a planner. Of course, I could just use the calendar on my darn phone, which I am also doing. But writing it down helps me think it through a little bit. So I'm actively trying to be more proactive and disciplined and pursuing that goal. So in terms of business and getting the business out of the ground, I need to get an LLC. So I will be doing it either by the end of this month or the beginning of February. I'm getting an LLC. I'll be making more products. I'm going to be. It's nice. The problem I was finding myself having was I didn't really know what to make. There's a bunch of different stuff I can like make stuff for, but I'll get into the issues with being a creative a bit later. But right now, I'm focusing on my little list here. But I'm definitely going to be prioritizing just promoting myself and producing a lot more stuff for this quote unquote business I'm making. Number three, I need to have better outreach. I need to start building a better community or a greater community, getting connections by doing more in-person events or putting myself out there in general more. Now I'll say I was doing it a bit more towards the end of 2025. However, I want to be a bit more consistent with it. I want to be a bit more active with it. I could take the lessons I've learned from doing it in general, and I could be applying it in much more concise and generally just better methods. So I'll be doing that going forward a lot more. So you'll be seeing more content from me. And this is like a 3.5 kind of thing, but it could be also more active in my romantic goals as well. So I'm also thinking this year I'm going to try to be a bit more romantically active. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, this in terms of my growth takes the front seat first and foremost. I've always said, if it happens, it happens. But in this case, if I'm going to do it, then I might as well be proactive in my approach to it. So I'll give it a shot. I do want to make it a goal to at least try to be. If I'm going to have a social understanding, then that technically falls in line with what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to attempt it. Now, it's a bit hard to say because that's kind of like it's kind of random. You can't like schedule. I'm going to talk to this person at this time at this place. I don't know when that's going to happen. It's eventually, I guess, but I'll figure that out when it pops up. But that's more of like a 3.5 kind of thing, or like a half kind of thing. It's not like a priority. But if it appears I guess I got to step up to the plate there. So that's something that it's a little bonus, I suppose. But those are going to be my major goals for this year, and at the very least, at the beginning of this year. When I say beginning, like January through about, I'll say April or May. But those are things that I want to get off the ground. That's how I want to start my year off. I want to get that off the ground running, and I intend to carry myself differently this year. I intend to carry myself with as if I'm the person with the skills that I have, as if I'm the person with the discipline that I have, as if I'm the person with the cognitive, oh Jesus, excuse me, with the cognitive ability that I have. So this year I'm definitely going to be applying myself much more towards being a successful person. And no, I'm not just going to be sitting here saying that. Like I said, I'm actively taking steps to achieve this goal. Directly after this, I'm going to be deep diving into, in terms of the podcast, I'm going to be deep diving into proper editing and things of that sort. So I think in terms of quality, you're going to be seeing more from me. In terms of me applying myself, I'm going to be start investing in things a lot more, and so I'm going to be pushing myself to be better at exactly what I am doing, and not just doing the bare minimum. Even if I'm tired, no, I gotta be doing more. I gotta be doing much more. So this year is definitely I'm going to be holding myself to a higher standard, of which I know I can achieve, but it takes much more effort than what I've been doing. So that is exactly what I'll be doing for the rest of this year. As I said, I'll be having the grace of a man with a mission, a man who has the skill level that I do. Now, and I am going to prove it. I'm not going to sit here and just say what they say that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prove it to myself, to everyone else around me. That the Michael that that you have known, is not the Michael that he needs to be. The Michael that I need to be is much greater than where I am. And I hope everyone else holds themselves to the standard that they know that they can. To push yourself to be the quality person, the quality version of themselves that can really make a difference in their own lives. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing around you. Focus on creating a life that ultimately you'll be proud of. Because again, we don't have like forever on this planet. We don't have forever to sit here and dwindle on a life that we could have, a life that we should have. No, if you think you should have that life, what are you doing to get it? And that's exactly where I am right now. But in terms of my growth, that's where I want to end it there. But going forward, I want to start talking about the next thing, full intermission time, artist of the day. So this is musician I've stumbled upon on Spotify. Their name is Echo Hwang. Excuse me. So essentially, Echo Huang. Excuse me if I butcher your name. It's my bad. But the song that I was listening to, I think the song that I've heard and I was really into was "You Got Me" from Echo. She has a very beautiful voice. I'm really into people who have that tone of voice where they're able to. It's like they're singing from their heart. The tone that they have is very. It's like they're very singing straight from their soul. It's very deep. Even if the vocals that you're listening to aren't really that deep, it's just the way that she comes across. It like you feel it. I'll tend to listen to her music whenever I'm driving or I'm doing something that I don't need to I don't need to be super detailed. And I'm just kind of like reading a book, for instance. I put it in the background and it's soothing. It's very soothing. It's something that I just generally just enjoy to hear. And that tone of voice, I don't really know if it's what you call like soprano, but there's something higher. But essentially, the way that she sings, I think, is very appealing to me. Another artist that I think that I would like to share. Many people know this one, but this is one that I've only learned about last year. The name is Jid, Jid. I've known about Jid for a little bit. I have a friend who introduced me to him, but I like his music. In terms of rap, I think he's slowly become one of my favorite artists. The most recent song that I've been listening to and I actually quite enjoy is called Strawberries. It's not strawberries. It's Skra. Skraw. SKRAW. Berry. I think that's how you spell it. Yes, that's how you spell it. Um, I don't know. I just like that song. But in terms of like rap music, I do think I've been slowly coming to terms with his like tone of voice. I like his music quite a bit. Now, with this next topic, next main topic, I want to go over the mind of a creative person. Now, in terms of me, this is of course I am a creative person, but this is more on my plate. The biggest challenge I find when creating anything is honestly working on an idea and finishing it through. This kind of goes back into what I was saying. I don't follow through with what I'm doing, but essentially, if I have an idea, for instance, like this podcast, I have created almost 100 episodes at this point. And out of those 100 episodes, there may be 20 to 50 that I've never posted. I may have finished it. I may have even completely edited it. And I had it ready to post, but I listened back to it, or I think about it as what I was saying, the way I delivered it, what the topic was. Do I feel like I really thought that through? Did I do enough research on it? And like I said, those 20 to 50 episodes, I may just absolutely delete. I don't have any backups for it. I get rid of it. I just didn't think it was the quality that I think it should have been. So the same thing goes for my drawings. I don't know how many drawings I could have done at this point, but there's so many times where I'm working on something like I have this great idea. I have the full complete drawing done in my head. Is that exactly the way I want it to be done? But if it's not going the way that I think it should be going, I'll scrap it. Completely scrap it. I forget about it. I don't even attempt to do it anymore. I won't try to finish it. If I'm drawing like the hand isn't coming out the way that I want, it's too big, it's too small. Does it feel like the way that I think it should be going? I'll completely scrap the idea and I'll move on. So in some instances, it's not even a bad thing to do. Sometimes you gotta cut your losses while you're ahead. Because sometimes some things aren't just going anywhere. It's not going anywhere at all. And like I said, it's not exactly the worst thing to do. You can like restart an idea, or you can go about it a different way and come to a different result, and a result that you're more proud of. That's, like I said, it's not exactly a bad thing to do. But when you're doing it at a consistent rate that I've been doing it, it starts to become more of an obstacle than an actual thing to help you. It's not becoming a bonus. So when it comes to me, I do that way too often. There's been so many ideas that I started, and I just completely forgot about, complete scrap. And the thing is, like I would say, like an artist motto at this point, because I know many artists that start an idea and they they're doing it, and then midway through they just stop doing it. They forget about it. They don't like the way it's turning out, and they move on. There's many artists who do that. I know many artists who do that, but in terms of me, I think I do it a bit too much. But most of that is due to me saying like, man, I'm not liking the way this is going. This could be so much better, or man, I'm not liking the way this is going. I thought this idea would be better in my head, and a lot that comes from doing that. I do think I need to be in terms of me, I need to be in a creative mood when I'm doing anything. I think all of my best drawings, all my best graphic design work, all my best podcast episodes, I did because I was really in the mood to do it. Like I got to be in the zone when I'm doing certain kinds of art pieces. And when I'm in the zone, I'm dedicating all of my time to finishing what I'm doing in terms of, this is exactly what I want to do today. At this very moment, I have the idea and I want to get it done. I got to be in the zone when I'm doing that kind of stuff. And in fairness, like I said, those are usually my best pieces, period. But I don't think I should be cutting stuff off as often as I do. So I think that's something that as an artist that I want to be a bit better at. If I have an idea, I've learned in school, sometimes even if an idea that isn't going the best way, the mistakes that you make could lead to better ideas in the long run. And some of my drawings have turned out that way. I had an idea for them. I didn't like the idea. I may file it for later. I'll come back to an idea. It's like, oh wait, I thought of a better way to do this, and I've made great stuff based on that. There's been plenty of times where I have done that, but I want to do it more. I want to do that more often because I think that's ultimately where my skills shine the most. It's not exactly. I have a good imagination. I'm very creative. I do have that skill I won't say talent, I will say skill. I will have that skill because ultimately I did have to work towards it. I don't think inherently for myself, I'm not a talented person. I'm a skilled person, a person who had to work towards everything that I've done. I do think I have skills, but not quite there with talent yet. But in terms of that, I think it's more. I don't think burnout is the correct word. Some of that I do think is definitely laziness, where I could be doing way more. Some of that is absolutely laziness, but I won't say burnout. But I do think I need to be more active when it comes to creating more quality product, more quality in terms of what I am doing. So in terms of doing that, I will have to sit down and really ponder exactly what am I going to do about that in order to get that point across. The same can be said for this whole show. Like I could be doing more of it. I could be doing different avenues. I think things I think that could elevate this to better quality. But it's again, I don't know how many episodes I have trashed up until this point. I don't know how many times I really had to sit down and redo episodes or redo something because I don't think I talked the best. I didn't get my point across the way I wanted to. I rambled way too much. In fact, I had an episode that was almost an hour long right before this. I just completely deleted it because ultimately wasn't what I was looking for. I would have had it out before New Year's, which ultimately is what I wanted to do, have an episode out before New Year's. But I decided no. I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna get this correct. I am going to just actually sit down and write down exactly what I want to say, or at least get the bullet points across. Which, yeah, I did. I actually did do that, and ultimately, I do think this is something that is meeting my expectations of how well I want to speak, how I want to get stuff across. I'm not rambling too much. I'm not going over topics again and again and again. So, with that being said, what is the takeaway from all this? In general, for this entire year, I need to be more consistent. I need to be consistent at better planning. I need to be spending more time really thinking out what exactly I want to do, but not spending so much time where it's never getting done. No. I need to start being more disciplined in terms of how I'm applying myself to what exactly I want, how I want to do it, and learning exactly the best avenue to doing that, to be more effective, more efficient, and ultimately having the best quality that I can for anything that I am doing. Generally, no simplistic way to go about it. I just need to plan better for most of the things that I do. And that is, in essence, my entire New Year's resolution. I am going to dedicate myself to providing and creating the most quality I possibly can. This is going to be my most creative year that I possibly can create. Regardless of what happens, I'm not going to let my own excuses get in my way. I'm not going to let what is the word for it? I'm not going to let my negatives become the crutch I lean on going forward. That isn't what I'm going to be doing this year. I already had the episode. I already know exactly what my issues are. But right now, I'm not going to let that be the thing that stops me from going forward. For anyone else, I really hope that you're able to push forward. I really hope you're able to learn. I hope you're able to think about that. Reflect on what you did last year, what you did wrong. Don't just think about the good things. People always only want to think about the good things, but understand what, for the bad things that happened to you, what led up to that point. Don't just simply blame other people. What really led up to that point? Was it because you weren't thinking enough about what you're doing? You didn't check in on this person that you know isn't the most reliable person. Did you not learn what you really want to learn because you relied on something, an external force? No. Are you at the point you want to be in your life because point blank and blank? Really reflect on what exactly led you to the point that you're at right now. If you're having a lot of successes, great. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're able to have successes. But to get to success, you must fail. And in those failures, what did you learn throughout those failures? who could you rely on when things were getting tough? What has been causing you the most grief in terms of where you are right now? Are you able to fix those things? Are they at your own fault? If they are at your own fault, what are you going to do to fix it? And I think in 2026, that is exactly what I'm going to start doing. That's exactly what the plan that I want to strive towards throughout this entire year is exactly that. In order to build, you must sacrifice. In order to earn income, you must spend money. In order to become the very best, you got to challenge yourself. You got to apply yourself. You must make yourself very uncomfortable in order to create a diamond. As they say, gems are created from pressure. And that pressure, and the more pressure that you have, generally the more beautiful gems come from it, the more valuable gems to come from it. I said that completely incorrectly, my bad, but I think you get the point. In order for me to be the best version of myself that I can be, I must start applying myself to become more uncomfortable in the place where I am. I cannot keep relying on things that have kept me afloat this entire time. I don't want to be afloat. I want to sail. I want to find new lands. I want to travel. I want to do things that I've never been able to do. In order to do that, I must sacrifice many of the things that I've come to be comfortable with, and that's something that I am going to dedicate myself towards doing. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for being here. I hope that you're able to really think about this year going forward. I hope you're able to achieve the plans that you're setting out for yourself. And if you don't have any plans, then I, at the very least, hope you're able to live your best life as much as you possibly can. And for those of you who are already struggling, who didn't have the best holiday season this last year, I want you to know that don't let that be your entire year. If right now you're in a deep spot, you can. While yes, there are negatives, I won't say just think about the positives, but make a goal for yourself. Build something from that negative one, and even if it's difficult, just try your best. Try your best to be the best that you possibly can be, and that's all anyone can ask for. That's all you should ask for sometimes, is just try to be the best that you can be, even if there's not a lot of things going right. The fact that you're alive can just be enough at times. But I want to thank you all for listening. Happy New Year's for all of you. Just keep in touch with not only yourself, but everyone else around you. And I want to thank you all for being here. Goodbye, deuces, and I'll see y'all later.